is if the CBC continues. And I think by the grace of God, it is going to continue. In terms of assessment, together with NEC, this is going to be a very robust, because I dare say that right now the only virgin data, which also involves capture, and I hope, and also the private schools, I hope they are here. We have their data when we are dealing with NEC, because children are children. For right now, we are saying NEC data is virgin, but we want also this NEMIS data to be even more virgin. There's no reason why we should not be able to monitor the number of kids that are in private schools, how they are transferred there, because this is a national system. And we are grateful that this is going to be extremely helpful. Ladies and gentlemen, we have had challenges in the past. That's why I told you I'm not a diplomat, and I don't want to be one. A surgeon cannot be a diplomat, because when you find a problem, you are not going to negotiate with it, you get it out. So in terms of school registration, we have had issues in the past where other arms of government will tell me, this officer of yours in Kilifi or in Kakamega or in Kisumu is charging 20 shillings in order to register a school. And I've had the capacity to go where I see that the school is a permanent structure. And when you go there, you find it's a mud structure or a wooden structure. This is going to stop, because the school registration can be initiated on this system under and then you can confirm. Anybody can go and confirm, including Wanjiku, can go and confirm and say, this school, if Wanjiku is a parent, this school is registered, but it should not be registered. Are we together here? So this is a very powerful addition to NEMIS, which is removing the human role, because when you remove the human role, then you become more accountable. And that brings me to the third point, which is accountability and transparency around capitation and funds application processes. I, as Professor Magoha, has taken all the bullets. Of course, the minister has to take all the bullets for all the faults of the previous system. You inherit the good, the old, and the ugly. And I cannot blame anyone. I want to blame our society for having accepted inconsistency, opacity, and all other manners for being normal. If we all ask ourselves, as we are here, the government provides 1 shilling, 1 Kenya shilling, to the Ministry of Education. How much of that shilling actually goes to the job that it should do? And let us be brutally honest. Perhaps if we are lucky, by my own assessment, if we are very lucky, after a lot of work, maybe 70 cents. If it is only 70 cents to the shilling, where is the other 30%? Where is the other 30 cents going? So if we improve the systems the way this NEMIS has done, then we shall be able to see the way we have done the classrooms, including my good officers and friends. Not that they wanted to steal the money, they just did not believe that it can be done. I remember when we were here 2 months ago and we said we are going to start again for the 3,500 classrooms. And I think there were about 95% of my officers said, no, it can't be done. Shetani ashindwe, it has been done. And it has been done by the same officers. We are now moving towards 85%, so it has been done. So this NEMIS thing is going to ensure that whoever you are, if you are given money to do certain things, if teachers are going to apply for capitation as they are supposed to apply directly. They will apply for capitation for Kamau, son of Njoroge, who is alive, who is in NEMIS. Are we together? You are not going to have a situation where you can add Onyango who is not there, or any other figures which you think can then, let me tell you what used to happen. You have a class of 30 people. And somebody X tells you, okay, add 20 there for me. So the poor principal adds 20. But then he says, if he's adding 20, why don't I add 10 of my own? Are we together here? Then when it comes to Jogo, you say, this school, I was there the other day, it has only 50 people, but now has 80. What is going on? Let me add another 20. So we end up having 100. That's not going to be able to happen. So this is a major transformative activity as long as the players that will follow us will be true to their God, their children, and their country. That is the challenge. In terms of infrastructure management, and first of all, I want to thank my school managers, the principals and head teachers. Over the last 2 years, that the outgoing government placed all infrastructures in schools on GIS, and they are aware. Those who have been moving around with me have seen that there are so many structures being built by government in schools. Some of them are very huge, and they are nearing completion. The regional directors are here. You can confirm to that. We are not pointing fingers at anybody, but when you know that whatever you are doing is being seen, if you are a thief, you don't come and pickpocket me when I'm seeing you. You want to come and pickpocket me when I'm not seeing you. So it's good we are already going back to the right track. But infrastructure management by head teachers and principals has also been facilitated on the system to aid the ministry to ensure that we get value for money. We can now watch if you are building a boarding house at Kanyenyaini, which is my district, and it is Kanyenyaini Secondary School, and you are building a boarding house for 750 people there. We can log in and see how you are doing it. If you wanted to hide, like as was in the past, where we have 10 shillings, and we want to use that 10 shillings to build a classroom at Kapsabet Boys High School. But Kapsabet Boys High School has an extra capacity. We will see that and we will catch you and take you to jail. This is what this system has done. But in the past, excuse me please, you have money, you want to build labs or classrooms, and we collectively look for schools which have those excess capacities and try to rebuild them again. For example, there was a school that had 11 extra classrooms and was allocated money to build another 11 classrooms. Without naming names, that is not going to be able to happen again. So we want to thank the people who have engineered this to ensure that this does not happen again. Selection and admission processes, which we've been using this system, and you are aware that there's also a human effect. Like last year we said, I think for the past 2 years we have said there must be affirmative action for children in the slums. Because when God was creating children, He didn't say only children of professors will be intelligent. In fact, children of professors are usually not very intelligent. It is children of professors, cooks, and cleaners that are very intelligent, and sometimes they stay in the slums. So this system is going to better that one, so that we actually don't have to go to the slums to identify Kamau Njoroge's granddaughter, who has scored an A, but then our human element is muffling that A to ensure that that child does not go to a national school. I have seen that they have also said you can apply for scholarships. I hope and pray that we shall still continue with the NEMIS scholarship, which again has a very strong affirmative action for children from the ASAL areas and children from the slums across this nation. That is the Kenya we want to build, which is where there is equity at every level. Otherwise, we run the danger of a revolution in future if we just self-aggrandize and make sure that it is our children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren whom we perpetuate to get forward. This new NEMIS is engineered to stop that nonsense so that you can find the children of your cleaner in the house, go to Alliance, from Alliance they go to Stanford and come back and break the ceiling. That is the Kenya that we want to build. In terms of monitoring and evaluation, that must continue at all levels. And as we monitor and evaluate, since we have given different accesses, I think a Jogo House can now, as we move forward, have a supervisory role to ensure that, like I have said, as I live, I have said this, and I hope a few people have heard it, that whoever is going to be a CS of education in this country for the next 20 years must accept that the work is not at Jogo House. The work is outside in the field. And I want to attest to the improvement of my staff because they know that I can be anywhere, anytime. That I have seen tremendous work improvement. Nobody now sleeps on the job. Because even now, as I stand here, you don't know where I'm going tomorrow. Are we together? So if you think you are, I'm using a situation where I was supposed to go to Asingishu, a particular school, and I regimented Dr. Sarah Ruto to go on my behalf. That school was supposed to be at a roofing level, CBC classrooms phase 1. When Dr. Sarah Ruto got there, she almost collapsed. I told her, welcome to Kenya for yourself. Because they had not even poured the slab. This is the truth. They had not even poured the slab. And if we were just dealing with the information, we would have recorded that building as built. And yours sincerely, I went to committee the other day to open a classroom there, but I would have gone there now to enter inside for no reason. Are we together? So forget about Kenyans. They can say what they want to say, but we shall continue to monitor and evaluate what is going on. That's my advice to the new CS. If he sits at Jogo in the ivory tower, he will get reports which perhaps may even land him in jail, because we are now very legalistic, isn't it? Integration with third-party systems, in addition to the aforementioned processes, NEMIS is a system which will be integrated with other education stakeholders to allow more centralized and accurate, up-to-date database systems. I want to apologize on behalf of my PS, Dr. Julius Juan. If I am the wife, Teacher Service Commission is my husband. If I'm the husband, Teacher Service Commission is my wife. So Teacher Service Commission cannot be among others. Are we together? As far as stakeholders are concerned, this be very public. Because the person we are using in order to implement what we are doing is the teacher. So I hope I've apologized on your behalf. So that my sister, Dr. Nancy Machele, does not think we are looking down on Teacher Service Commission. So this includes integration with the Teacher Service Commission. It has come first. After that, NEC, KICD, NHIF. and so on. There are still other things that we will work better on, like the NHIF system, which provides service for our children who are sick. There is need for us to check in terms of the number of children who actually utilize the insurance money. Are we getting value for the 4 billion shillings? If we are not, the incoming government should negotiate so that we pay less premium or cover more children in terms of the NHIF. There are many other improved processes which you have all seen, but I would like to say that we have had issues with the auditors, and I think even though they said they were not given access, when you are not a thief, you don't worry about anything. We shall continue. They were given access. They can go back again. They will continue to go back into this one also, because there is nothing to hide. Are we together? But I want to say this without any fear of contradiction. The disease that is affecting our nation now, it's a general one. And I think the best thing is to start with yourself and ask yourself, are you doing what you are supposed to do? And if you are assessing a third party, assess that party without prejudice. I say this because I am actually icked. When we are given a certain amount of money to procure 400,000 desks, 500,000 desks and chairs. And because of our human involvement, we produced 625,000 desks. Why should anybody pretend that you have not seen that added value? Why should anybody pretend that you have not seen that? There is need for us to relook at our processes, which are excellent, but those processes must actually be tied to measurable outputs. If you don't want to tie the processes to measurable outputs, you will kill the passion that some of us have had in terms of delivering. Just like I have not spared any of my regional directors. And like I stand here, Mrs. Otieno, can you stand up? That lady there, I promoted her from Meru. During the first phase, I went to Central about 30 times. Minus Kiambu, I have had no reason to go to Central. In Nyeri, where she is, which was among the last, Nyeri completed about 2 weeks ago. You should clap for her. The next one is somebody called Sifuna. Sifuna is also the regional director of the Nyanza region. He is about to complete everything, maybe in another few days. And this is, the third one is called Arab Sugut. He's also in the eastern region, doing extremely well. He will definitely complete before we do a number. And Gilo, why are you? Kwanza wewe ungekuwa umemaliza kila kitu, yuko shida gani? This is the northeastern one who usually finishes, but he's now going, anaenda sambamba na Otieno, hata wamekaa pamoja. So you can clap for Jill also. Then we now ask, where are the headaches? Nairobi iko wapi? Where is Nairobi? He's not even here. Well, Nairobi is not here. East, the coast. Where is Adam? You see? You can see. In my lineup, you should have called me. Yeye kuna shida gani? Oh, pole sana. Mimi ni daktari. Let us pray for him. So you see, the two cities are giving me headaches. Rift Valley, I can leave Osure because there are many units like Nandi who are doing well, but it can still do better, and we shall still complete. That is Magoha Hassan and Magoha for you. You set a target that you can complete. So we are going to complete this, and I think NEMIS is only going to do this better. Now you may want to know what is going to happen in terms of perhaps one more thing I want to mention is the approval processes. Personally, you know, I am not a conformist, and I don't intend to be one. So when my staff tells me, oh, you see, I sent it through the PS 10 weeks ago, I don't look for the PS, I look for you. Because that is the way I was trained. Today I'm wearing my Starahian lapel, which gives me the energy when things are thick. Are we together? So there are approval processes that must be done through transparency. And all I want to say is that as NEMIS does this, there must be specific timelines and turnaround times. There must be turnaround times. That's why I enjoyed being a vice chancellor at the University of Nairobi, because we set the pace and said, if you are coming for your transcript and you graduated in 1975, in 30 minutes, you shall have your transcript. If you don't have your transcript, something will happen. I know government is a very big animal, which changes every year. But can we try to be a little bit more efficient? And I think our approval process should be better and more transparent, and there will be more accountability with this system. What point are we driving home? Okay, we are a rainbow country, and we have to consider affirmative action. But let us say I want a Turkana in my staff. Are we together? There is a competent person in Turkana. Excuse me, please. I should look for him. So this is also going to help deal with nepotism, tribalism, and all the other innuendos that we have in this country, where the only denominator should be what you can do and not where you come from. If you are looking for a Pokomo, excuse me, please, there is a Pokomo who can do work. And I'm glad you agree with me. Mr. Kibet is the only one who knows this very well. Ranks don't matter to me as Magoha, son of Magoha. I have burnt my fingers where my handlers have told me, sir, this one is the most senior and is very suitable for this position. Are we together? And you send this person to the position and he just pees on him or herself. Nothing. I get a junior officer and he takes the job running. So I keep asking myself, was the person promoted on the basis of years of work or the basis of productivity? I have my collaborators like Mr. Yu there. I don't know whether they will agree with me, but I think as we promote people, the number of years of work should count, but what should count more is whether or not the person is able to do the task that you are giving that person. Otherwise, you will go to Peter's principle, which basically says you have promoted somebody to the level of his incompetence, and then ask yourself whether you have helped yourself or whether you have given yourself the work to do. Are we together? In order for me not to bore you, let me just conclude by talking about the way forward. And this is now speculation, because as you know, we are an outgoing government, but the ministry will execute the following processes towards deployment of the engineered NEMIS system, beginning with the pilot system on Monday. Regional directors of education, PS, early learning, PS, curriculum implementation, and all the others. Monday, 29th August, and to conclude on or before the end of the current academic year. And you should, you know me as a slave driver, this can be done. Why are you earning money? I was told that there is never a vacuum in government. People are wondering why we are working. We are working because the children are at school. Are we together? And we must continue to deliver. Some of the things that will require to be done, one is the pilot system, 2, pilot review, 3, capacity building of the Ministry of Staff Headquarters and field. By capacity building, we have excellent officers in the field. Sometimes it is leadership that lacks. My take on this is that give somebody an opportunity to lead and see what the person can do for you. If this is not done correctly, if this is done by you looking at your friends and doing 1 or 2 things, then it will not work. Capacity building of head teachers and principals, and that's why I said us and Teacher Service Commission are like husband and wife. I want to use Kapsabet Boys High School, with which I have interacted very closely, or Kenya Girls High School in Nairobi here. And that does not mean all the other schools are not as good. But I have looked at Mr. Maio. When you go to Kapsabet Boys High School, you are like you are in a military establishment. And it reminds me of my days at Starehe Boys Center, where when a pin drops, you will hear it. So it is possible to discipline our children. They come from all over the country. Then you compare to some others, a few others, where the schools, the boys call the shots. You go to the school, you find some of them, their shirts are outside. We produce those children with our blood. You must be assertive, absolutely assertive, to ensure that the children remain children until they graduate. So there are many schools like Kapsabet. And you see Mr. Mayo, the respect he commands, just before exams, if you go to Kapsabet, you find them singing like lions. Then you wonder, are these children going to, and then they go and pass. That can happen in every school. Why is every school not geared towards just doing what they have to do? And I'm challenging even the day schools. So it is not time for children to dictate what is happening in our schools. Let us be very assertive, and I want to encourage my field staff not to be scared by politicians or any other group of people. But when you are doing what you have to do for the discipline of the children, help the parents. And I end by saying, can the parents find time to interact with their children and let money play a very, very small part in it? Because they need your love, they need your tough love. They need a vitamin called vitamin no. No, you can't do this because of 1, 2, 3. The children remember that. Otherwise, it's a very sad case this morning where a boy has killed the mother. And you ask yourself, where did the rain start beating that family? You cannot give your children whatever they ask for. If you do so, you are not very wise. The children must be allowed to live a normal life. I go planting trees in every place I go, and I get thoroughly flabbergasted when there are 2 children there. Instead of them removing the cover of the tree, you see the teachers are running to do it for them. Do you hear what I'm talking about? I would love to see those children removing the plastic around the tree and dirtying their hands on my behalf, because after all, mimi ni waziri. Wananiwekea ndani, alafu mimi namwaga mchanga ndani. But if you don't even want them to touch the soil, you have seen that in about 90% of the cases. So as parents say I make a lot of noise, they are soon going to miss me. But I think they must let the children dirty their hands and do things the way they should be done. There is need also for the formation of a technical working group with education stakeholders like the unions, like the private schools, and all the other stakeholders in order for this to go forward. And reviewing and monitoring should continue. But all those things I have said have an end date of January 2023. What am I saying? That as we start the new curriculum, with a competency-based curriculum, it should find a robust NEMIS that has everything that is required. That any parent who feels that there are issues to be dealt with, there is no home where nobody has not gone to school. Are we together? There is no home where nobody has not gone to. There is no home where, actually, let me put it this way. Which village in Kenya has no smartphones? Is there any? You are keeping quiet, but the answer is no, there is none. There are smartphones all over the place. In fact, the poorer they are, the bigger smartphones they buy. Have you noticed that? Like my farm manager has 3 of them. Do you get and several numbers which I don't know. So if somebody is really keen on checking what the child is doing, they will be able to check. Is that not so? Yeah. So with all those many remarks, ladies and gentlemen, I would just want to ask government to ensure that there is no future interference with these servers that have been placed in a secure place. You have been told that nobody is going to have undue access to them. And there are so many other things. For example, if, this is my last shot, you go to Witemere in Nyeri and you find a very intelligent boy in the slums, and that boy has been taken to go to Alliance High School. If another Miro is going to try to change that process, it can be seen. And the Kenya police have handcuffs, isn't it? And they will be able to handcuff that child. It will also help whoever is going to continue to identify children who are from slums, who require to be given scholarships as we continue. And I believe there is room for improvement in this process. So I first of all want to thank all my staff who have taken time, starting with Brian and all the other people that you, Kimathi, the name of Kimathi is our liberator. Where is Kimathi? Thank you very much, Bwana Kimathi, and Brian should stand up to be seen also. And all your other staff and the timelines that you have kept. I know it has been a very difficult one. Let me end by saying that should there be need for extra money to be injected in this process, government is never broke. Kenya government will not be broke. I think it is important to spend 1,000 shillings to save 20 million, isn't it? So I want to charge the incoming government to focus on this, because both of them, whoever takes over, they have given promises which are very difficult, which require money to be saved. So if there is need for us to pump a little bit more money to keep on upgrading this system, it should not go through the political systems which take too many other things into account. And it is one area where I would want the government to focus, because if money starts leaking again from this NEMIS, it will be a very difficult thing. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. It has been my pleasure working with you in the event that I don't address you again the way you are. It has been a privilege, because we professors think we are intelligent. We are not very intelligent. We are intelligent within the presence of universities. Life is outside the universities. Life is in the slums. The children that can be molded are out there. And I would like more professors to be exposed to this kind of experience that I think I have experienced. It has not been very easy, but I think I've thoroughly enjoyed engaging the poor children in the slums, and I will miss them. Thank you very much.
For your patience. I think now we move to the next level where he's going to do the actual launch, which is the ceremonial one. Thereafter, I think there will be a word of prayer, and I'm advised by the CEO that there are some more snacks to be destroyed after this. Thank you very much.
Bismillah, we pray in English in the name of Allah, the entire Master, the special Master. Praise be to Allah, Lord of the world, the entire Master, the special Master. Sovereign of the day of recompense, it is you we worship, and you we ask for help. Guide us to the straight path, the path of those upon whom you have bestowed favor, not of those you have invoked to your anger, or those who have gone astray. Amen.